distance, and off they go. Come on, little one, lagging behind. You're little, so you're brave. Follow your mommy. Come on, there you go. Good boy. See, your white butt's mommy is looking at you there. It is foggy today. We had this crisp, sunny, cold weather yesterday, but all these clouds rolled in, brought haze with them. I mean, look over the forest. It's all hazy. The further in the distance, the more hazy it is. That's the best my camera can capture. But very hazy. Yesterday we had this nice crisp weather, but it was much colder. So today we're in a haze, but it's warmer. Deer still need to feed. They don't care how cold it is, or warm, or wet, or what. And I'm doing what I've done pretty much every day over the past few weeks. Going to the injured badger hole, not giving up on him. Not ready to do that. I'm pretty much concluding the injured badger hole video series, because not much interesting stuff going on there. Just rats, fox from time to time. I'm actually really curious about the fox. He wanted to get into the hole and was literally going in there, but careful as he is, before he did slip in there, he made one last check, make sure nobody's watching him, and he noticed the camera and got spooked and took off. But he was definitely looking to go into the hole. I think the fox wants to take over the hole, and that's not a good sign, definitely. But I think he can sense that the former owner may no longer be there, which would suck for me and for the badger, obviously. I'm gonna continue keeping an eye on the old badger hole, see if that fox does move in or what's gonna happen. Gonna be bad news for the rats too. Pretty sure foxes eat rats. I mean, we've all seen images from all these documentaries by National Geographic or whatever, the Discovery Channel, whereby a fox walks on a thick snow cover, carefully, silently, then leaps up into the air and nosedives into the snow, then just pierces through the snow and catches a rodent under the snow. So I know that foxes eat rodents, rats, mice, shrews, voles, and so on. So if the fox turns the injured badger hole into the fox den, then that could be bad news for the rats living there. At least in theory. I'm not an expert. I don't know. Either way, I'll keep going there. I'll keep checking. It's a mission that's engraved in my heart already. I'm not giving up. I'll keep checking after winter too, because I still keep the tiny spark of hope that the badger simply hibernated early. Not sure if camera can capture that, but this haze is moving over the field, moving downwards. I don't think the camera can capture that, but the haze is kind of in a movement down into the valley. Very hazy today. Oh, what do you know? I'm back, and I brought my tripod, like in the first episode, because it is not as cold, not as freezing, the ground is not as frozen. The one last thing I'm going to do before I conclude this series of videos is get rid of that box, but because the box is a biohazard, I can't touch it, so I'm gonna dig a hole with a stick somewhere, use sticks to remove it, and bury it. doesn't really cause much harm here because it's just cardboard. It's basically cellulose from trees, so worms can feed on it and many other organisms can feed on it, and it will safely decompose eventually. But still, I put it there. I want to remove it so it doesn't block the badger hole, and I'll just leave the camera. So that's the plan for today. Right on, Decker. I presume you heard what I said. I'm gonna leave the place the way I found it. No bugs visible, but the camera stays. You keep packing, I'll get to work. Whereas, even though it's less cold than it was yesterday, it is still freezing and the ground is frozen solid. It's not really easy to dig into the ground, so I'm gonna have to pick a place where the ground is loose, which is generally where the badger left the stuff he dug out of the holes. So I moved to the hole where I lost the camera. That's what you're looking at. So that puts a distance between the main hole and the buried box, so it doesn't spoil the environment for creatures that are active. But it still gives me an option to actually bury the box, because otherwise, without tools, I wouldn't have a chance of digging a hole, even though I don't need a big one. So, and this is where I'll dig. There are two kinds of people in this world: those with loaded guns and those who dig. I dig. Yeah, I dig. Have this pair of kind of pretty overused gloves, but at least some protection. Right now I just need protection against the cold, because that twig I'm using, the branch, it's cold, it's freezing. This is all ice, solid on it, so it's like basically handling ice, and you can handle it for a while, but if you hold it in your hand for an extended period of time, then your hands go numb. Approaching the root system already. It's gonna be tougher digging into the roots, and I don't want to damage the trees, so I guess that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna go much further. I'll move that box in there, crush it and bury it, and it can decompose. Worms can feed on it, bacteria can feed on it, fungus can feed on it, mycelium I mean. So that'll be good. Alrighty. Oh, what was that? Sounded like a gunshot. Unless something really heavy fell in the distance, I don't know. Okay, the gloves are off. That's not what I meant, but the gloves are off. Okay, so there's the big hole where I lost my camera. That's where I buried the box. Slight disturbance, but nothing too major. And that's the main hole. No more box. The camera will stay on the tree. I'll keep monitoring. If there's any update, I'll let you know. But that's it for now. The injured badger series, at least for now. Well, let's call it suspended until further notice. Well, it is somewhat ironic that you should pack on the same wood, on the same tree, as when I filmed you for episode 1 of Injured Badger Hole series. You know, don't you? You do know. You've always known. You can feel me, you can sense me, we communicate.